40s are the best. You finally realize in your life what really matters. You don't care about what people think about yourself anymore. I'm gonna quit my job and travel the world, and literally that's what I did.
You did that?
I quit my job. I used to work for Mattel. You mentioned that, the iconic brands that I work for. So Mattel, fantastic job, fantastic organization to work for. But I was in a moment of my life where things were not making sense anymore. We become more creative, we become more productive. And you find a way to transform yourself and to reinvent yourself and to revamp your own career. You're not going to lose your career. You'll create something better.
My conversation today is with my friend Glauci Fernandes. Glauci Fernandes is an accomplished program leader with international experience spanning multiple industries. She has held key roles at iconic companies such as Disney and Mattel, where she led complex initiatives with a focus in innovation, strategy, and cross-functional collaboration. Having lived and worked in Brazil, Germany, and the US, Glauci brings a global perspective to everything she does, blending cultural insight with a passion for impact-driven work. Today, she continues to lead with purpose, balancing her professional achievements with her most meaningful role yet, being Ulysses' mom. In this conversation, we talked about career, motherhood, identity, and so much more. I hope you enjoy it.
I'm Fernanda Rodriguez, and welcome to the Adults Table.
Wow, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It has an honor to be here.
It's an honor to have you. You are a person that I really admire as a woman, as a friend, as a mother, as a professional. So we met because you created an amazing group of women that I was fortunate enough to join and be part of. And it's a big part of my life here in Chicago. So I appreciate everything that you do in this group. And I think we've had such an amazing experience so far. So I'm very excited to talk to you today and have you share a little bit more of your background with the audience.
That'd be great.
All right. So why don't we start with your background? Because I already gave an overview of, what you've done so far in your career. But for people who wonder, what is a program manager? It's program manager, right?
I'll explain you the difference.
Okay, see? For people who wonder, for people who wonder what the difference is between a program manager and project manager.
I used to be a project manager before.
Okay, can you tell us what you do?
In a nutshell, like trying to explain in an easier way, the program manager is the one that leads a bunch of projects, related projects, and make sure that we run those projects smoothly, I'd say. From the point of view of her project manager, the project manager will focus on a single project from beginning to end. And the program manager has the big picture. So many projects happening at the same time. And you want to make sure you keep all of them on track, aligned with bigger goals from your organization. That's pretty much it.
That's awesome. So you still work with project managers?
Yes.
But you have more of a
big picture.
Yeah. And you've had a pretty exciting career. You've had an international career. You live here in the US. You were from Brazil. You got transferred to the US to work here. You've worked for amazing brands like Disney, Mattel. So there's so much that I look in your background and I get so inspired by being a woman, being Brazilian. So it's very exciting. And one thing that I wonder that I wanted to ask you is, you seem to be very career driven. Have you always been like this? Do you consider yourself an ambitious person?
Absolutely. Very ambitious. But I would say at the beginning of my career, I was super, very ambitious. It was all about climbing the ladder. Then moving abroad, I had to learn, and to grow personally and professionally. So now I know it's not only about climbing the ladder. It's about everything around you as well. So it's not only, I was always ambitious. People that know me, they say I'm very competitive as well. I don't think it's really true. But work-wise, I would say I absolutely love the challenges of corporate work. And I do know that corporate America in particular is very challenging. And moving abroad, as I mentioned, taught me so much. I've learned so much. So I definitely had to grow. And I would say moving abroad kicked me out of the comfort zone. So I had to grow professionally and personally to learn that it's not only about that job title or being that level, particular level. There's a lot of things in between or around you that needs to happen as well.
What are some of the things that you think are different between working here and working in Brazil, and some of the things that, going back to where you're saying that you had to grow and learn, can you give some examples?
I'm already laughing because I know when I moved here, I got an offer from the organization that I'm still working for the same organization. So, and I moved here, I was so confident the culture was pretty much the same. I was like, I've been in the US so many times, so arrogant. So I am confident that my English was enough.
I'm laughing because because I can relate.
I don't know where to do in English, but I always worked for American companies, but I also learned from Cultura Inglesa. And I was like, Cultura Inglesa taught me absolutely everything. So I got this. And sure enough, when I got here, culture was a shock. So first of all, we in Brazil, we value a lot the lunchtime. And we all go together. If you're not invited, you're excluded from the group. It's like that. Versus in the US, sometimes you don't even have lunch. We just have a sandwich at your desk. And for me, it was like, nah. And guess what I did today? A sandwich at my desk.
Yeah.
So
Same.
you have to adapt, right? That's what the first thing. The second is the fact that in Brazil, it's all about the time that you spend with people at work and the building the relationship. And I think here people are more results oriented. It's all about what you're going to present at work. And I don't need to be with you all the time. Like, I don't need to walk with you at the conference room. I don't have to have a coffee break with you or a happy hour afterwards. Sometimes we need, of course, we do have team dinners. I think it's important to build a healthy relationship with their coworkers, but it's not only about the relationship that you build. I think in Brazil, it's more about the relationship. Here's more like, you have a relationship, but not that close.
I agree. It's so funny because it took me a while to adapt. I think that I'm still getting used to it in a way because, even I go to the office and I don't have, not all my team is here. So I have to kind of socialize with people that I don't know. And I always find myself like, is this awkward? Is this weird? Is this, I don't know. It is different. And I was laughing when you talked about the lunch because that's what I do now. And that's what I prefer because I'm like, I'm just going to get a quick salad here in my desk. Let me eat in 20 minutes and, continue to work. And I think it's interesting also. When I got here, I was so confident. It's like, I'm such a good worker. I'm great at my job. And you get to an extremely competitive market with people from all over the world, from like the best of the best. And you're like, okay, I'm just Fernanda.
Yeah.
And then you kind of find yourself again. I don't know if that happened to you, but I feel like I'm in this constant process of finding myself again in this culture and in this environment and this, company culture and everything.
I agree. 100%. Find yourself and be creative in different situations.
Yeah. And another thing, and I don't want to get off track here, but another thing that I want to ask you is, what do you think us as Brazilians, what do you think we bring to the table for these companies, for these American companies and working abroad?
Jogo de cintura. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to explain that.
I tried to translate that to a guy the other day. I'm like, you have game in your waist.
Jogo de cintura is something like, if I can explain in a few words, most of my coworkers would be by the book. If something happens, they'll be like, okay, we have situation A, situation B, and that's it. No more solutions. Brazilians have B, C, D, E. Like, we're going to find a way no matter what. So I think that's the difference. We're going to try until I exhausted all the possibilities. I think that's the biggest difference.
I agree. And I think it also has to do with being super adaptable, creative. We have to do a lot with less. In Brazil, we have less resources, we have less.
Except.
So I think that creates that creativity. I'm glad that you mentioned this because a lot of us have that idea that we have nothing to add, that we're not as good as people here, and we absolutely are. So do not feel like you're less off because you're not. I agree. All right, so let's pivot to motherhood because you, like I said, you're a mother that I really admire and I think you have a really cool story. But being that ambitious, is it something that at some point you kind of fought with in your mind in the sense of, yeah, I want to be a mother? And first of all, have you always wanted to be a mother? I guess that's my first question. And then the second would be, how did that play out with your career and how did you plan for that? Lots of questions. Let's start with the first one. Have you always wanted to be a mother?
No, not at all. And it was funny you were saying that because I remember when I posted pictures of my newborn on social media, I've got a few messages saying, "Oh my gosh, you're a mother? I cannot believe it." Because my speech was always like, "Nah, it's a lot of work. I don't know. I'm not ready for that."
That's my speech.
Let me tell you a secret. You're never going to be ready. Never. There is no perfect moment to be a mother. But what I really felt, uh, I was, as we mentioned, I was always very career driven. It's like I could see myself back in the day working weekends and like traveling abroad and super dedicated. Not that I'm not dedicated right now, but I was so career driven, but I always thought there was something missing. Plus, I was looking for the perfect partner as well. Had some other challenge. Uh, so I met my now husband here in Chicago, and then we started the conversation. I was still not sure about having kids, but again, both of us very career driven, super dedicated, and there was that feeling there was something missing. We've been abroad, we've traveled so much, we know, you know, we did a round the world trip, but still, what is missing? What is it that is missing that we cannot identify? And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should give it a try to this motherhood journey. And yes, we're never going to be ready for that, but it's the most crazy and wonderful journey that you can go through. It's been my daughter's going to be 2 in a few weeks. So the past 2 years, I've learned so much because again, very arrogant position. I thought that I knew everything. And then comes a tiny little baby to tell you that, no, mom, your Excel spreadsheet is not everything that
Oh my
No.
Yeah.
So I've been learning every single day.
That's so yeah.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah, so you mentioned you met your husband and you had started having these conversations. Can you tell us how you met your husband? How old you were when you met your husband?
How old I was when I met my husband. So I already mentioned how long ago. So you do the math and know my age. But I was 33. 33, yeah. I was 33. And we met in Chicago, as I said. My husband's also Brazilian. We met through a friend in common. And what was the next one?
That was a question, I think. Yeah. Look at us. It's 9 p.m. I don't know what time it is, and we're kind of lost. But no, but this is exactly what I wanted to get into because I've always had this idea in my mind. So I met Jeff when I was 23. So when I moved to Colombia, 23, I was super young. And every friend of mine who are in their early 30s or like late 20s, they're like, oh my gosh, I need to find a partner right now. Something's wrong with me because I haven't found a partner yet. And I'm 27 years old. Oh, I haven't found a partner yet. And I'm 25 years old. So there are so many people that freak out about this. And I used to be one of them because I'd be like, okay, is there something wrong with me if, I haven't found my partner yet? And even social media, I see that all the time as well. So did you feel like you were more mature when you met him? And what would you say to people that are like, I have to find my partner in my 20s?
No, you don't. Please, you don't. Go enjoy your life. Go explore the world. Go explore new sports. Spend time with their family, your parents, if you have the fortune to still have them around. You have the whole world to explore and enjoy. Don't be so like attached to an idea where I would say society is creating this perfect world for us, and this is not true. You have so many things to do and to explore. I did a round the world trip before I met my husband. I enjoyed so much with my friends, with my family, uh, at work, like putting a lot of trying different things until find myself like what kind of career path I want to go down. Accomplishing my courses, my degrees, MBA and everything. So yes, you have so much to do.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure throughout this path, as you're focusing on yourself, self-knowledge, learning new things, exploring the world, we're gonna find something on the way. I think it's the other way around. If you're super like so focused and so attached in this idea to find someone as soon as possible, you forget the rest of the world around you.
Yeah.
And it should be the opposite.
Yeah.
And I think naturally will come as you take more care of yourself.
So from the moment that you met him to when you guys had Alice, which was in your early 40s, I guess this change from your 30s to your 40s, do you think a lot changed for you in terms of wanting to become a mother or even in general? Because I know that the 40s, I'm excited to be 40. I just turned 30, but I've always been excited to be 40 because I know it's an age that a lot changes. So how was that for you?
Let me tell you a secret. The 40s are the best because you finally realize in your life what really matters. You don't care about what people think about yourself anymore. You really don't. You're like genuinely, you don't care. And respectfully,
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're saying. I respect your opinion. I just don't care. And it doesn't affect me anymore. I became a mother in my early 40s, and I joke that I became very productive as well because you don't have more time to waste. So that's amazing. You are like, you're more mature. You face your problems in a different way, less drama, more move on, more action, um, more solutions oriented, I'd say. And it's amazing. And financially, you're doing better than your 30s. And
What more can you ask for? Yeah, but they say that your 40s is when you really start to live more authentically, just because exactly what you said about not caring anymore. You just, yeah, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to do what matters. I know what matters.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and you ended up like setting more boundaries and I'd say selecting better people you're gonna build a relationship with or people will keep in your life. I do have like two of my best friends. Not but if I forget one of them, they're gonna kill me. But they live abroad, but we met each other like 15, 20 years ago. They're still my friends. We say that one is because we changed, but we changed for the same direction, I'd say. And two, because we're getting more mature and we know exactly what's really important in our lives. So yeah, even though you're far away, I'm mad at you because you're so far away. I cannot see you like as much as I'd like, but still we're very connected because I think all of us, we understood what finally matters.
yeah,
I know what really matters.
that's awesome. And you mentioned that you became more productive.
Yes.
What else has changed? How do you think your identity has changed since having your daughter?
Definitely add an extra layer in my identity. Because motherhood it's a journey. It's a beautiful journey. I've read something about once you become a mother, you cross a portal, and when you are on the other side, you finally understand what it is. And sometimes I feel like that. It's like, okay, now I realize, even from your mother's point of view, because it's much easier when you're the daughter and you criticize and you don't understand a few things, and even though you make peace with that, but when you become the mother, you see, now I know why my mom was doing what she did back in the day, and everything changes.
Yeah.
Even your relation, I speak for myself, my relationship with my mom, I think it has gotten better and better because now I have like better understanding da bucha, que é do grande problema, the big challenge that it is. And again, the fact that I became more productive because you really don't have time to waste. You have like 40 minutes. I have to accomplish 3 things perfectly, and I have to do it because I don't have time. You have to do your best within 24 hours every single day, like nonstop. In the office, I was not joking with other mothers. Hey, how was the Mother's Day? And they were like, well, you know what? I asked my husband he could watch the kids, and then I could sleep some extra hours. So no more jewelry, no flowers. Just give us like 2 extra hours of sleep.
That's
That'll be fine.
Just let me sleep. Never great. See, now you know what matters. Just sleep. I love it. It's funny because you mentioned that you traveled the world. You've been to what, 16?
42.
Oh, what?
Total no, but I've been within a year at 16
Within a year at 16, but you've been to 42 countries.
overall. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a lot. That's awesome. What was your favorite country?
I have
Random question. Really random.
many favorites. I think Asia is just amazing. Like I do love China. India is incredible. So different. Thailand. Thailand's amazing. Croatia is amazing in Europe. Montenegro, Albania. So it's like it's completely different worlds.
Yeah.
And you've learned so much and try different food and speak with people and learn about the culture. It's just amazing. Sorry, I really don't have one favorite.
But this is a great answer. So again, not to get off track, but there's so much that we can talk about. But so back then, did you used to feel that almost like that need to travel and that like I need to, how do I explain this? Because sometimes I feel that myself, like I'm just gonna quit my job. Like sometimes I have that rush and that need. And a lot of people I know on TikTok has that because I see that type of content all the time of people like, just quit your job and go travel the world and things like that. Did you used to have that back when you're traveling a lot? Because you still do obviously travel, but when you went to all these countries, were you just like, yeah, this is just going to be a great experience? Or was that really part of your identity? What was that like for you?
No, I think I did what everybody tells you to do. Like, I'm going to quit my job and travel the world. And literally, that's what I did.
You did that?
I quit my job. I used to work for Mattel. You mentioned that, the iconic brands that I work for. So Mattel, I still love the brands. I still have my collectible Barbies. Fantastic job, fantastic organization to work for. But I was in a moment of my life where things were not making sense anymore. Some personal challenges that took me to this place. And I was like, that's what I mentioned at the beginning. Like, even it's not only about climb the ladder, it's a balance. And I was not balanced at all. I was like, you know what? I'm single, no kids. And I think that's the time to travel the world. So I planned for a couple months. And then when I surprised like my former manager, hey, I'm gonna quit, he goes, what? What's wrong? Like, is that, do you want to renegotiate salaries? That it's like, no, it's not money, it's not everything's fine. I still love, like, it's been 12 years and I still have tremendous respect for the organization.
Yeah.
Still have some friends from that organization.
Still have the Barbies?
They still have the Barbies.
Yeah.
But that's a moment of your life. Like, same thing with motherhood. You're never going to be completely ready for that. That's the moment. I got the money, I got the time, I got the right moment of my life to do it, and I did. And no regrets. Absolutely no regrets. If I had to do it again, of course, it would be completely different.
Yeah.
A few things I've done during the trip, like play different places, because now I've learned, but no regrets.
Yeah.
When I returned, I remember my mom would pick me up at the airport and she looked at me, she was like, that's another person. Like, she didn't even listen to, no, not a single word. Just by looking at me, she was like, okay, it's a different person.
Because you went solo too, right? You
Mhm.
were so
Yeah.
awesome.
A few places I had some friends meeting me on the way, but I spent like 5 days here with me, somewhere in the world, but mostly solo.
And do you think that the Glauci from 12 years ago that did this will look at Glauci now and be like, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I planned. Was that like where you are right now is where you planned 12 years ago, or you think your life is completely different than what you expected?
No, when I was towards the end of my round the world trip, my plan was to live in Germany, speak German fluently, and be there forever.
Oh my!
I still cannot speak German. That's one
But
of my
you did live in
frustrations.
Germany, right?
I did live like for a couple months, and then just we study doesn't even count. Couple months, you say they're really leave. But then back in 2019, my then husband got an opportunity with work, so we moved to Berlin for a year, and I absolutely love it. I still want to be there sometimes, but you plan something, but it's not. I'm in a completely different place from what I've planned back in the day.
Yeah, that's cool.
Even in Chicago, when I got the opportunity to move to Chicago, I had to Google Chicago because I didn't know where exactly it was.
You just knew that it was cold, that it was, I mean, at least that's what I knew. I was like, it's such a cold place. I know that, but it's so much more than that. I want to go back to motherhood and career because there are so many women that I look up to, like Sarah Blakely from Spanx. She's a badass and she's a mother. Whitney from Bumble, who when they went public with Bumble, she was holding her son, which was such an iconic photo. That photo, the day I saw that, I was like, no way. That was so cool. It made me so happy. So it is so refreshing to me when I see successful women that are mothers, because sometimes we hear that you have to pick, it's one or the other. And when you see women like you and like these women that I just mentioned who are just amazing professionals and amazing mothers, it's really good as women. So I wanted to go back to this topic. How was it for you when you had your daughter? Did you go back to work right away? How was that process like for you?
Um, Not really. I was blessed, I would say, uh, and very privileged for the opportunity to take a whole year off. So I left the organization I was working for right after my maternity leave and didn't go back. And then I decided to like really focus on motherhood, with the baby and myself as well. And I knew 3 months of maternity leave was not enough. And we know how hard it is in the US because usually the mat leave here is like 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Is really, really hard. I remember visiting some daycares. We can see, like, when you visit this space for little babies, they're super proud to tell you, oh, that baby is 6 weeks old. And it's like, it breaks my heart because the reality is the parents that left the baby there is because they don't have an option. The parental leave here in the US is very short. So I feel really privileged just being able to take the whole year off. Yet there was something very interesting because I was like, okay, a baby is so much work. And people say that it's very true. You have so much work with a newborn. You have so much to learn and to do and like keep track of so many things. But the reality is I love spending time with my daughter. I feel like I'm resignifying my life here in Chicago when I'm with her because now I want to show her the city. I want to show her the art institute. I want to show her the zoo. It's like something completely new. It's so fun and so rewarding. But at the same time, you miss having like being an adult's table. You miss having a conversation about fashion, about politics, about anything. You mentioned at the beginning that I created this group of women, Brazilian executives here in Chicago. So it's a way to reconnect with working moms and with other women uh, that lives corporate life and have like the same ambitions that we have in common. So exchanging these ideas and this information with someone that's kind of on the same page as you are, it's very relevant. So throughout this year, there was of corporate life, I would say. I had so many ideas. I was always involved with some volunteering opportunities. I was on the board of the Harvard Club of Chicago. I created the group, like Women's Sphere, and I was always involved with something else because we do miss like interaction with adults. So it's an eternal question. Am I going to be like a full-time mom, or am I going to be like a super successful executive with no kids? There is a way to do it, to do both. There's something between that. You can definitely find a balance. So I knew, I was like, even I love spending time with my daughter, but I knew I need to go back to
Yeah.
work.
And you did. So year 2, right? So was it before or after Alisa turned 2 that you went back to work?
A little before, yeah.
And
It
before.
was 1 and 15 months, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 something.
And how was that? So when you went back, how did I feel when you went back to corporate after being a year off, just spending time with her, taking care of her?
I was so happy. Honestly. I was so happy. Well, 2 things. One is I was very happy to go back to wear high heels, to have my badge in my office, and like to talk about projects and strategies and being a program manager again, connecting with people. I'm very fortunate to work in a diverse company, so learn from different cultures and different backgrounds was amazing. Amazing. Happy to be at work every single day. Still am, because it's really amazing, and I really love what I do now. But at the same time, I was like, there was part of me that was like, oh my gosh, is she okay? Is she okay? She started attending daycare right after. I was like, is everything okay? Should I put a camera? And should I know? No, they should not put a camera, because you know what? I think the biggest learning from being a mother is we do not have control over anything. You're gonna trust someone to take care of your child. They know what they're doing. Sometimes they know more than I do, because I have thousands of kids. I only have one, so they know what they're doing. And guess what? Alice is super happy. She adapted really well. She's very happy. They send pictures. You can tell how happy she is. She learns a lot of things. The vocabulary increased a lot. She picks up Portuguese. She speaks English and Portuguese. It's great. Everything's working really well. And I think what kills us is the obsession for control. Right? So you want to control everything. I want to be with my daughter because I want to control absolutely everything that she does. I want to be a successful executive because I want to control everything that I can at work. In reality, we do not control anything. So do your best in the present moment. And that's why I joke, I became a very productive person, because if I have an hour to do whatever, I'll be like laser focused on that and do my best in absolutely everything that I try.
I'm so glad that you brought this up. How do you deal with that, with the things that you cannot control in your life in general, not only with your daughter, but what you said, I think is very important. And it's a good learning that, listen, we really can't control everything. How do you center yourself when you feel like you're getting maybe too anxious about things that you actually cannot control? Is it just self-talk? You just remind yourself like, yeah, there's only so much I can control. Let me just focus back on what I can control. Or like, what do you do?
You know what I do? Something that now I know you love, running.
Big runner.
Big runners. Run is my active meditation. So that's what helps me to like control anxiety and then do not overthink and jump on the control freak side, right? So you gotta exercise, you gotta do something for yourself. Either meditation, yoga, Pilates, whatever. Journaling. I love journaling, so I do as much as I can. I used to do like once a week. Now it's once a month, but still, I think it's super helpful, especially when you get your like previous journals and read what you wrote. And you're like, I cannot believe I'm making the same mistake. Back in like, I don't know when, look what I did. And now I'm kind of journaling about the same. No.
Here I am again.
So yeah, all these things I think help a lot to be back on track and understand that, yeah, we don't have control over anything.
Well, I want to play a game with you now.
A game? I did not see that coming. Oh my God. Am I
Let's play a game. I want to play a game. I want to talk about some stereotypical phrases that have like some stereotypes about being a mom that we hear all the time as women. And I want your opinion on those phrases and if you agree or not. And if not, why not? And if yes, why yes? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get some water. Okay. First one.
I'm nervous.
Good mothers are always selfless.
Are you sure?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
You know what? I think it's a hard one for me because when you're in a position, you're kind of like putting everybody first and you're always the second. I feel like somehow it's natural for a mother to do it. It's kind of natural, but you mentioned something recently in one of her episodes about people pleasers are manipulators. And that really made me think that it's somehow a way of control things and doing things your way, right? So, and it doesn't mean you're not a good mother if you find a balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think, I don't know, I feel like I sometimes have a problem with the word selfish because I think selfish can really be anything. It depends on who's judging that. I feel like sometimes people say something selfish when really it's just a person setting boundaries.
Yes.
So sometimes I get really, really annoyed. Sometimes like
100%.
they're not being selfish. This is not being selfish. So what do you expect? Do you expect someone that's going to be a huge people pleaser that they just do what everyone else wants them to do, but what they want to do? Like,
No,
why?
I agree, but I truly believe, especially as a working mom, sometimes you need to be a little bit selfish. A little bit. And it doesn't mean you're not a good mother. You know, you need to take 1 hour. I never been the whole week off because we were traveling for work. And then on the weekends, of course, you're gonna spend most of the time with your daughter because you miss her so much, blah, blah, blah. But if you need to take an hour for yourself, for a run, for a massage, for meditate, for whatever, you're not selfless. I mean, you're not selfish. I mean, you're not being like, you know, I want to take the time. You have to.
Yeah.
It's how you balance and like take care of your mental health
Yeah.
to be a good mother.
Yeah. Well, there are people that say that just by going back to work, a mother is selfish. I've heard this, and it's because see, I cannot. This is a can of worms for me. The word selfish, because even I have a friend that she's 100% sure she doesn't want to be a mother. 100%. She's like, I don't want this. This like okay, I respect that, but she hears from other people like, you're being selfish with the rest of the world. And then she was like, she asked this person, she's like, why did you have a kid? And then the person was like, oh, because I want someone to take care of me when I'm older. And then she's like, who's selfish? Now, like, what is this conversation right now? You know, so again, the word selfish, sometimes, yeah, but sometimes it's just like you're doing what you have to do for yourself. That can be a 1 hour run, that can be going back to the workforce, whatever that might look like. All right, number 2. Mothers instinctive. This is a hard word for me. Mothers instinctive. All right, mothers, they have an instinct to know what to do.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom, she was never wrong.
Never wrong.
Never wrong. Never wrong. Every time that she mentioned something about a friend that she doesn't like or a boyfriend that she doesn't like, she was never wrong. And then I'm a mother now.
Yeah.
And I feel I'm never wrong. No.
You're never wrong. But do you?
But I feel like mothers know, they have this instinct.
Yeah.
Esse faro de mãe.
Yeah. Do you think it's different from the dads and how so? Because, and I want to ask you this because you have a husband that is a super present father. He is really present. And I was talking to my cousin the other day, and she recently became a mom, and she was telling me that it's funny because her husband is also super present, but she feels like it's very different. The instinct that a mother has versus the dad. That sometimes she's like, she'll feel something. She's like, wait, I got to go check on him. And then he's actually, I don't know. So do you feel like it's different?
It is. And it's hard to explain how and why it's different.
Yeah.
But I do feel it's different. In cases like, I feel like she's not doing well today. Oh, she's fine. She's absolutely fine. And then sure enough, next day goes to daycare, they call, hey, she's not doing well for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
I don't know how why it happens, but yeah, I agree 100%. The moms have instinct.
That's so cool. It's funny because I don't know if I want to be a mother, but this is one of the things that really intrigued me. I want to experience this. I think it's so deep into who we are, like the instinct part of it. And I think it's really cool. Number 3, you only understand true love when you have kids.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
it is very
100%.
different.
Very different. One of my best friends, they want to live abroad. She doesn't want to be a mother. She's very like sure on what she wants, but she's like, we hear mom saying, I'll die for this baby, I'll die for this kid. Or how about leaving more for the kid? So leaving more and taking good care of yourself is also important because you love that kid so much because you want to do your best for the kid in absolutely everything. So, and gives you a force and power that I have no idea how you could feel that, how you could be so strong. I didn't even realize, we don't realize how strong we are until we go through this entire process. So
That's beautiful.
yeah.
Number 4. I think we kind of talked about this one, but let's see if we have any additional comments. Women have to choose between being a good mom and having a successful career.
I don't think so.
Nope.
No, absolutely not. We can definitely, like 100%, we can do both.
Last one. When a mother is born, guilt is born too. Nasce uma mãe, nasce uma culpa.
This is somehow true, but I think this guilt comes from the place of the control. I feel guilt I'm not with my daughter because reality is I want to be with her all the time to control what she does. I remember like when my daughter was probably like 2 months old or 3 months old, I went for a walk on my own and I was feeling like awful. I was like, what am I doing? I'm walking around the block without her. but it feels so good. I'm gonna stop for a coffee now on my own and have like a proper coffee with both hands, not like with one hand trying to save the kid with the other hand. And oh my gosh, I should be with her. But look at me having like a moment of peace with my coffee. So it is, I think it's constant. It is true that you're feeling guilty, but only because you feel this pressure or this willing of control everything. I want to be there because I want to know absolutely everything that's going on and being around when she needs me. We have kids for the world. It's really bad if you think of having a kid to project yourself on a kid and have the kid so the kid will study whatever you want to, or will follow a career path that you want to. I think it's very problematic. Not even selfish, it's problematic.
I agree. Extremely problematic, by the way.
And I had this kid and want to be around all the time. Well, in a moment, this kid will fly and have their own lives.
She'll be traveling 42 countries, you know?
It's like, highway man, let me do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is what it is, right? It's a way to show love. And if you really love the kid, you're going to be strong enough for that. So even though you feel guilty in the end.
That's beautiful. Two more things, just so we close. Wrap up. What do you hope that your daughter learns from you as a mother, but especially as a woman, as a professional? What do you hope she learns?
It gets me a little emotional because I think two things that I really hope that she learns is to never give up, to be strong enough to fight for what she wants, and also never give up also comes with having faith, right? To believe in something. I would be disappointed if she tells me she doesn't believe in anything, like any forces of the universe or God or whatever she wants to believe. But I'd love for her to have faith and then never give up. And the other thing is to be a kind person, but also know to set boundaries. Especially as a woman, she's a little girl now, but it's not an easy word for women. And I really hope that she grows with a strong foundation to be able to still be kind to others and set like healthy boundaries.
Linda. I got a little emotional here myself. And what's your last piece of advice for the audience, especially maybe for the women who are not sure if they want to be mothers or they're scared because they think that they're going to lose their careers? What will be your last piece of advice?
You're never going to be ready. Number one. Don't wait the perfect moment because perfect moment doesn't exist to be a mother. Oh, I'm in the best moment of my career. I'm the worst moment of my career. The perfect moment doesn't exist. And no, we're not going to lose your career. We're going to be strong enough to reinvent yourself and be very creative to find new solutions. I love to say that organizations need to hire more moms. When I started like buying things for my baby, I was like, this is so incredible. And sure enough, it was a mom that created. So we become more creative, we become more productive. And you find a way to transform yourself and to reinvent yourself and to revamp your own career. You're not going to lose your career. You'll create something better when you become a mom.
Beautiful. Glauci Fernandes, everybody. Thank you. This was great.
Thank you so much for having me. You are the best. Please keep shining because the world needs more Fernandes.
Oh, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here.